Happy Thursday, everyone, and happy birthday, Cheryl. I hope you have a fantastic birthday, and I hope everyone's feeling good after yesterday's big chipper. Today's workout's going to be a little shorter time frame, but it's going to pack a nice, decent burn for you guys, so be prepared and have some fun with it. Our warm-up today is going to be plank lean, all three directions for 3 to 5 reps. Arch up for 20 to 30 seconds, PVC Prone Raise for 3 to 10, arch up again, 20 to 30 seconds, and then a narrow stance squat for 5 reps at a 3-1-3 tempo. So a nice chance just to move, get some core work in there, just kind of balance out the shoulders a bit, and just feel your body. After that, we have a little bit more core work and some shoulder stability work. We have a half Turkish get-up with 5 per side, into a Turkish get-up sit-up for 5 to 10 a side, and then tuck hollow with extension, 20 seconds of continuous movement. Boat pose for 10 to 20 seconds of a nice isometric hold, and then we're going to move into a Russian twist just to work on a little bit of rotation work, and then we're going to hit that for 3 to 5 rounds. Getting that core work in there, getting some good shoulder stability in, generating some good heat, and then we're going to finish off our warm-up with a little prep. A little bit of prep for our work set, dumbbell shoulder press for 3 to 5, air squat for 5 reps to move us into the work set. So what we have for you guys on this work set today is an on the minute for 5 rounds. You're going to take down 30 seconds of dumbbell shoulder presses or push presses, depending on the dumbbells you have at home. And then you're going to do 30 seconds of recovery squatting. So you're just going to put the dumbbells down, and then you're going to do air squats at a nice steady state pace for 30 seconds. When the time frame beeps, you'll pick your dumbbells up, clean them, go back into the shoulder press for 30 seconds, put them down, back into that nice recovery squat. And you're going to keep moving continuously for about 5 minutes. So 5 rounds on the minute, you're going to work that just continuous movement for 5 minutes straight. So it's going to be a nice little burn. The goal, though, is to use that recovery squat, that air squat, as a chance to let your arms kind of relax and just work on some smooth and steady flow. Let's get you warmed up, ready for action, and we'll have some fun on a Thursday. All right, you guys, let's warm you guys up. Let's get our feet under those hips. We're going to take the arms big and tall up overhead. We're going to give ourselves a little shrug. We're going to come back down. We're going to bring both shoulders behind the neck. And we're going to keep the ribs in. We're going to reach through the elbow. We're going to reach through the other elbow. Come back down. Reach again through the elbow. Back down. Reach again. And back down. One more time. We'll reach up. And then down. And then reach up. And back down. Big stretch up. We're going to stretch to one side. Oh, reach to the other side. Oh, and then all the way down to the floor. We're going to touch those toes. We're going to walk up the shins. Come down. Frame a foot. We'll step back into our lizard. We're going to lower the back knee. We're going to press the hip. We're going to come back to center and open up. And then from here, we're going to come back down, press the hip, back to center, outside hand, and lower down, press the hip, back to center, outside hand, and plant that hand. We're going to press that heel back, step back into our down dog, setting up those good shoulders, press the heel, come back through into our plank, and we'll step the other foot up, nice and square in those hips. We're going to lower that knee, we're going to press that hip, come back to center, outside hand, reach, come back down, press the hip, back to center, outside hand, lower down, press the hip, back to center, outside hand, and back down. Grip the floor. Press the leg back, step back into our down dog, set yourself up, and then walk your heels a couple times. Just feel them out a little. And then from here, we'll come back into our plank, tiptoe those feet all the way up, and we're going to roll ourselves all the way up, big tall stretch. Little shrug. Pull those shoulders down, bring the hands down. We're going to get you guys ready to go. So pause the video if you'd like to do a little bit more gentle kind of warm-up work. We are going to get you moving in that first phase. We're just going to start off with some plank leans. So I'm going to turn and face you for the first one to show you the plank lean, and then I'll turn sideways so you can see the forward lean, the third direction. So I need to get myself set up in my good plank. So I pull my ribs and hips together, press through the shoulders and grip the floor. I'm going to lean, initiating through the shoulder, and I come back to the other side. And then from here, I'm going to come back to center, maintaining that tight hollow, pulling forward with that upper body, and then pressing back. And then I'll set up for my second rep. facing the other way so you can see that pull. I want you guys to know that the pull comes from here, not here, all right? So you'll see my heels come forward. I'm not pushing into my toes. I'm just pulling with my upper body, and it's dragging my feet forward instead of being back in that normal plank position. So I get set up again in my plank. I pull my ribs and hips together, press through my shoulders. I lean to the side. I lean to the other side, initiating through the upper body. I maintain that tight position, pulling forward, and then pressing back. And then I get myself set up in that good hollow, that good solid lat engagement on that press and pull. So take that down nice and slow. If you need to take a knee in between to reset your core position to your shoulders, please do so. It's very important that we have that shoulder position the entire time we're working those leans and the lean forward or that pull forward. Our next exercise takes us to the floor. So if you'd like to do a nice little lower down on the floor, you can. We're going to get our arms out to the front. Eyes are to the ground. I'm going to work on a arch up. So dynamic for 20 seconds or to 30 seconds. So my armpits are down. I'm going to inhale, reach and lift, nice and straight. Come down. Inhale, reach, and down. Or I can do a single leg alternating style. So I can work on reaching my right hand, left foot, keeping it straight. Left hand, right foot, keeping it straight. And I can work on that alternating pattern for 20 to 30 seconds. My next exercise, I'm right here in my position anyways, the PVC Prone Raise or my Prone Shoulder Raise. I'm going to lay flat on my stomach, armpits down. I'm going to squeeze my toes, squeeze my glutes, my ribs and hips, armpits press, my palms press, and then maintaining this tension I have throughout my entire body, I'm going to lift my arms as high as I can maintain that position in terms of maintaining my neck, my armpits pointing to the floor, and that nice hollow. So we want to maintain that good hollow position as we lift. It's very easy to, when I go to kind of lift my shoulders, to lose through here. So we want to make sure we're pulling those ribs in, squeezing nice and tight, and just lifting through the shoulders and the upper back, and not losing through the ribs and through the midsection. So we want to keep that nice and tight. We'll do 3 at 10 seconds, and then you'll move back into some arch ups. So you're going to work in that opposite direction again for 20 to 30 seconds, either a single leg or double leg. Then we're going to pop up to the feet, and we're going to give our upper body and our core a little bit of a break. We're going to go into our narrow squat stance. So if I was to set up in my regular squat stance, my narrow is going to be anything inside. And it can start a little wider and then build a little bit narrower, even all the way together, depending on how your ankles are feeling and your feet are feeling. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that narrow stance, and I'm going to stay nice and tall, taking my hips to my heels, and I'm going to try and stay as upright as I can. Weight through the midfoot, my knees track my toes, I try and stay centered over my laces, and I'm going to take it as deep as I can maintain that back position. I don't want to go down to a point I'm like rounded out. I want to stay nice and active and take it as deep as I can maintain in that squat. I want to maintain our normal squat mechanics in this. We're just using this narrow position to open up the ankles and the hips a little bit differently than the sumo or the regular squat stance. Quick little recap. We have a plank lean, all 3 directions for 3 to 5 reps. Arch up for 20 to 30 seconds, dynamic, into a PVC prone raise or a towel prone raise or a shoulder prone raise for 3 to 10 second holds. Back into the arch up, dynamic for 20 to 30 seconds, and then into our narrow squat for 5 reps at a 3-1-3. 2 to 3 rounds, take that through, take your time, you guys. If you need to rest a bit before that next round of plank leans, because that is going to tax that core and that upper body a little bit for you guys. So please take the time, rock it well, and we're going to move on to the next phase. The next phase does not give the core any time to relax. So what we're going to work on is called a half Turkish get-up. So I have my trusty ab mat here for my knee. If you need, or if you have hard floors at home, you may want to have an extra pad for your knee for this one so you can enjoy the movement a little bit more. We have to keep in mind if we're going to load this, we're going to keep that leg the same as the arm that's in the air. Even if we're not loading, I should say as well. It's the same arm, same leg. So whatever's forward is the arm that's up. So if I'm setting this up without a hand, or so without a dumbbell, I'm going to set myself up good and square, nice and tight, and I'm going to take my body to the side. I'm not going back, I'm going to the side. And my arm up here is right over top of my shoulder, shoulder over shoulder, and shoulder over hand. So if I kicked my legs out, I would be in a side plank. Then I'm going to come back up, keeping that arm pointing up to the ceiling and holding that position the entire time. I like to pause for a few seconds on both sides of this. So I'm going to get tight, I'm going to tip over to the side, I'm going to plant my hand, hold for a beat, I'm going to come up with control and set that good overhead position. The whole time trying to keep my armpit pointing towards the front as I do that movement set. Then I'll reset, making sure when I reset my position that I set my knee up, same arm, same leg, so I can get that good position on the way down as well. Take your time with these, you guys. These are not meant to be fast. These are meant to be pretty controlled all the way down and all the way up. And I'm going to show you something kind of fun to play with. If you find that you kind of crash down, something you can play with if you watch this hand, I'm going to come down to the floor. My fingers are going to touch first and they're going to absorb into my palm. And then I'm going to come up onto my fingertips and then come back up to my position. So I'm not trying to just go palm to the ground. I'm absorbing into my fingertips in my hand, and then I'm going to pull that away slowly. My next exercise, again, is going to stick with the Turkish get-up, except we're going to do a Turkish get-up sit-up. So I'm going to get myself set up, same leg, same arm. So the arm with the weight or no weight is going to be pointing up towards the ceiling the entire time. My knee is going to be bent on the same arm as my arm is up in the air. And I'm going to press down with this foot, this opposite elbow, and I'm going to press up with the dumbbell to get myself up to my elbow or to my hand. And then I'm going to take it down to my elbow and back down to leg. So that'd be 1 rep. So I come up, press nice and tight. I can come up to my hand if I like, come back down to the floor. So my goal here is to keep that arm pointing up to the ceiling the entire time I'm working that sit-up. We want to watch out for this one, and that's trying to get momentum. So as I come up, I pull my hand back and I swing forward. I need to make sure that that arm is up towards the sky throughout the entire process. So again, it's not a fast movement. It's pretty slow in terms of getting up there. And it's all about that compression and that tension in that pressure up to the sky. So take your time with that. It's a hard movement without load. So if you are gonna load it, make sure it's light. And if you're comfortable with some heavier load, make sure you're focusing on using that contraction and not momentum or jerking motion to get up to that elbow position. After that, we're going to lay down without any load, and we're going to work on the tuck hollow with extension. So I'm going to give myself a big stretch because it's always nice to start this off with a reach. I'm going to pull my ribs and hips together. I'm going to pull my shoulders and my knees together. From here, I'm going to slowly straighten my legs as best I can, pausing for a beat there, and then pulling them in. Pausing for a beat, extending them, and then pulling them back in. And I'm going to continue doing that for 20 seconds. Not rushing, but just sort of slowly exploring those hamstrings, pulling the heels back in, and working on that nice steady flow. You'll probably only get about 3 to 5 reps, and that's okay. We just want to make sure that we're working on getting that full reach out of that hamstring and that full compression out of our core. Our next exercise is our boat pose, and we've done this before. There's a few different ways we can do this. So what we're going to do, my toes are going to be together. I can start with my fingertips behind my body. I'm going to pull my feet in. I'm going to get a little bit of a lean with my body, but my torso stays upright. And I'm going to lift my feet up in the air. I can lift my hands up as well, keeping my chest tall and upright so I'm not slouching, and I can hold that position. If I cannot hold both feet up in the air, what I can work on is one of a couple things. I can work on staying tall, pulling, and then lifting a leg, working working on the compression in towards my chest with my quad and hip flexor. I can do one at a time. Or I can work on just pulling it in, not worrying about the lift, just pulling it in and or pulling it in this way with 2 feet. And working on building that compression, that posture through the body, because we want to make sure that we're sitting tall, not rounded out. So we want to stay nice and upright, nice and tall as we hold that position. You're going to hold for 10 to 20 seconds. If you're doing single legs, focus on half and half. And if you need to take a break, take a break. It's a nice little stabilizer. It's tough, but if you'd like to, use those fingertips. Try and use as little hand as you can, but if you need it for stabilization, please do so. Because I'd rather see you hold the position than worrying about stabilizing the entire time, all right? From there, we're gonna move into a Russian twist. So we can play around with those feet being off the floor, kind of in that similar boat pose, and touching beside my hip, back and forth, working on that rotation through my low rib position. Or I can keep my toes down, working on that same rotation, because the rotation is what we're after. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. It's not about keeping the feet up off the ground. That's a final stage of the movement, but our goal is to work on the rotation through the midsection. So if I was to sit facing you guys, I could definitely do it just like this, but I'm not getting the rotation that I would if I was working on rotating through the low rib. I'm just moving my hands back and forth. I want to focus on rotating at the low rib, back and forth, trying to touch my hands as close to my body as I can. So if they burn, take your time, play with that a little bit, see how it goes. You have 20 seconds to work on that good rotation work, see where it takes you, especially after those tuck hollows and that bow pose. That burn is real. It's gonna be there. So take your time and move well. Quick recap through that. What we have for you guys is a half Turkish get up for 5 per side, Turkish get up sit up for 5 to 10 per side, tuck hollow with extension for 20 seconds of dynamic movement, into a boat pose hold for 10 to 20 seconds, following up with some Russian twists for 20 seconds. 3 to 5 rounds. Take advantage of that, you guys. That's a good work set for that core stability position and that nice overhead position. So really take some time, explore, take your time, because the workout doesn't take very long. So explore that warm up, get yourself good and fired up and ready for action. Pause the video, take that down. We are going to move into the next phase, which is just prep for the workout. So we're gonna go over the shoulder press and the push press and our air squat. So I'm gonna grab my dumbbells here for a second. Our first movement in our exercise, in our workout today, is our shoulder press. So I'm going to clean my dumbbells up. So I get set, clean my dumbbells up to the rack position. My feet are underneath the hips or just outside. Squeezing my glutes, ribs are in, I'm staying nice and neutral. I'm going to strict press the dumbbells overhead. And then I'm going to come back down, and I'm going to take a breath, brace, press overhead. So I'm working on that nice strict press. Nothing moves except for the shoulders, and I'm trying to find that good line of action. Arms slightly behind the ears, ribs are in, hips are neutral, and everything's nice and straight overhead. If the dumbbells I have at home are too heavy to shoulder press, I can work the push press. The start position is the same. The only difference is I'm going to get that dip and drive to get the dumbbells up. So I'm going to get set, tight, and dip and drive. My finish position is the same. I'll come back down, I'll set, dip and drive. I'll come back down, set, dip and drive. So I'm working on just using a little bit of assistance to get the dumbbells up overhead, depending on whether or not I have dumbbell or heavy dumbbells at home and not light ones that I can shoulder press. So depending on what you have, choose the shoulder press option if you have the loading. If it's too heavy to shoulder press, go with the push press. 3 to 5 reps to warm that up, get a feel for it. Then you're going to put the dumbbells down, and you're going to get set up in your regular squat stance. So not our narrow, not our sumo, but just right in the middle, which is perfect. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. So my feet are in that same stance. I'm nice and tall. I'm going to try and keep the weight through my midfoot, my foot nice and flat. I'm going to take my hips to my heels. So I stay nice and upright, my knees track the toes. I'm going to reach for a little bit of balance, and I'll stand through the knees and the hips, staying nice and balanced for my body weight. So there's a couple things you can focus on for you, depending. I like to focus on my feet. All right, so I like to really focus on staying flat floor, but keeping my weight through that laces area of my shoe or my foot. So take your time, pick whatever you need to focus on for your air squat. And remember, today in the workout, they're really there for recovery, so they're not going to be executed too quickly. So this is a good chance to really work on some fundamental aspects of the squat in our work set. Pause the video, take it down, make sure you get yourself ready to go, you're comfortable with the loading, the movements, and then set your timer up, and I'm going to run through that work set. So on the minute for 5 rounds, what you're going to do, you have 5 minutes of work for me. 30 seconds, you are going to set yourself up, and you're going to shoulder press, or you're going to push press for 30 seconds straight. Once 30 seconds hits, you'll put the dumbbells down, and you're going to start air squatting. Just nice and smooth, working on that good flow, just relaxing the arms, moving them around a little bit, but giving them a chance to recover, but still moving. Once that timer is done, 30 seconds is up, you'll pick up your dumbbells, clean them up, start pressing again, or push pressing. And you're going to go through that for 5 rounds, so continuous movement for 5 minutes straight. The arms will get a break during the squat. The legs are going to get a little bit fatigued, and you may find during those shoulder presses, those legs start to burn a little bit because they don't really get a break. They're constantly supporting your body, and they're squatting, so you may find that they get a little pooped. But if they do, just take the squat a little slower, work a little steadier, and have some fun with this one, you guys. It's a nice workout to take down. After that big chipper, you're going to get a good shoulder burn, perhaps a good leg burn during this one, but it's all about working hard and recovering hard. So enjoy these little mini intervals every minute and have some fun today. Happy birthday, Cheryl. I hope you have a fantastic birthday. I hope you all have a fantastic Thursday as well. Enjoy this work set, work for quality, enjoy, and we'll come at you tomorrow with a nice little strength work set. Have a good one, you guys.